Welcome to the Collab podcast series, brought to you by Cresco, a law firm with an exclusive focus on entrepreneurship. In this podcast, we take you behind the scenes with some of today's most driven entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and innovators. We hope these conversations will not only inform but also inspire you on your own journey in business. Let's dive into today's episode.
My name is Olivier Van Raemdonck. I'm the managing partner of Cresco. I've been here for 10 years now. My specialty is corporate and M&A and tech contracting. And I'm excited, Vincent, to welcome you here at the Cresco office for this podcast. Let's start with maybe a quick introduction to yourself and a view on your career until now.
Okay. Thank you, Olivier, for inviting me. So I'm Vincent Vanhooymissen. I am a co-managing director at Aminolabs and also currently still CFO. Quick introduction for myself is I just became 40 last week.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A new milestone in life.
Yes, indeed. And I'm married to Hanne and I have 3 kids, Victor, Oscar and Ella. And we just missed each other at law school at Leuven. And I also studied economics. And I'm from Bilze, Limburg, the center of the world, of course.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I saw that you were recently promoted managing director of Aminolabs. Can you tell us a bit more about Aminolabs? What is the core business of Aminolabs?
So at Aminolabs, we are a contract manufacturer of nutraceuticals and supplements. And we don't have our own brand, but we produce for other brands. And we are currently around 90 million turnover with 2 plants, one in Hasselt in Belgium and the other one is in Germany, Hamburg. Okay. And we almost have 230 people working with us.
Okay.
Why are we different, of course, than the rest is, we are very focusing on high quality and innovation. So we have other contract manufacturers in the world that are really good at filling the jars and the bags and everything, but we want to add some added value through innovations and quality. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And maybe a step back, looking at the history of Aminolabs, you were private equity backed until recently.
Yeah.
You've done a management buyout.
Yeah.
Is that a fundamental change to the company? The fact that you did a management buyout, that the private equity player is now out. Okay, you replaced him by another player that we all know. But is there a big difference between how the company was managed in the private equity when the private equity was around towards now?
Yes and no. So the company was founded by Roger Hannet in 1993, and Waterland Private Equity stepped in September 2015, and they stayed in until September 23. We owe a lot to Waterland, and they really professionalized, and the whole buy and build structure where they're known for was a very important thing in the career and in the life of Aminolabs. The thing that changed is our mindset. Is that in the past Waterland was majority shareholder. Now Roger is back at the steering wheel, and of course we are backed by LRM, but they have a minority. So the interactions with them are quite different. In the past it was more Waterland setting the pace, and now the urgency needs to come from the management. So that is the mind shift. That we can't blame Waterland anymore. We could once a month we drove to Antwerp and we had our board of directors, and we came back and we could say Waterland has decided this and that, and for the negative messages it was quite easy to hide behind them. Mm-hmm. Now it's always we have decided. Okay. And that is the biggest difference, that you have to back up for your own decisions far easier, and you can't hide behind anyone. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But on the other side, I assume that if you would turn back and do it all over again, I assume that you would again step in an adventure with a private equity player in order to ensure the growth as you're reaching it now?
We had a very positive experience with Waterland, and they are still picking up the phone if we need something. Okay. So they're always still helpful, and they're very fond of us still.
Okay, so you're a fan of private equity, I understand.
I am a fan of private equity
because nowadays, when you look at the newspapers, there are some criticisms that in certain sectors private equity is killing the market. Yeah. What is your opinion on that? Is the private equity really essential in the Belgian landscape to accelerate growth for companies, or?
I am convinced it is. Yeah, they bring a lot of knowledge. Of course, there are always different types of private equity, and not all private equity is the same. Mm-hmm. But they also bring a lot of professionalism. Like, for example, you can also say this: there are always good and bad examples, but also for family-owned businesses with no private equity, there are good and bad examples. Not to mention Van Hol, for example. So there are also only family-owned offices that are run well and not well. The good thing with private equity is, and I'm only speaking with Waterland, is that the only issue is it a good idea? Is it a good idea? They can back it up. It's never the question, do we have the money? Yeah. It's really, you have to defend it, and they will be very tough on your business plan. But once you have to go, money is not an issue.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, let's focus now a bit on the product and the business in itself. You've been around for 8 years now, I think. How did you see your industry evolve, and what is the biggest challenge in the industry?
Yeah, there is a big evolution still going on, but I like to refer to my mother-in-law. Okay. When I joined in 2016 and explaining why I left KPMG and going to Aminolabs, and they say, but that's just for the bodybuilders, and it has the big jars and the black jars, and also the connotation of doping and all those kind of things was still more present than it is now. In the last 8 years, it really became mainstream, and back then it was like, the bodybuilders, and now she's also begging, do you have a jar of collagen for me? Okay. So just to give an example, that back then it was really niche, and now I know a lot of people who are more protein aware. Yeah. And also Corona helped with that one. So in my mind, the circle it's a full circle now, because it started in the 70s and the 80s with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then the first real body cultists, and people wanted to become like him, and he was just telling people, I eat that and this and this, and they made a black jar, put his name on it, and people back then were really motivated by eating those proteins, and the size and the color of the product didn't really matter, and even the taste didn't really matter. Okay. They just took the backside of the product, looked at the ingredients, and they were very motivated to eat almost anything. Yeah. And with over the 30 years until now, it became far more important with getting more mainstream. The look and feel of the product is far more important, and also the taste becomes more and more important, because like myself, and I only take myself as a standard, a weekend warrior who's not doing a lot during the week, but in the weekend I try to do something. And if you walk into the retail and you see a product and you see proteins, you want to taste it, but you will take the one who seems neat and a clean label, and you will only buy it back if it tastes good. Yeah. So there's an intrinsic motivation to you don't look really at the ingredients. Of course, you have a certain awareness that you need this, that, and that, but it's a different mindset. The people, the consumers, are less known by the product, and so taste and look and feel became far more important. So it started with the persona cultus, but now we see it again with the influencers. We're back at the persona cultus, but now more an online thing where they are branding.
And are you then proactively anticipating on that, or are that your clients who request you to develop certain products based on their needs? Because I understood that you're a B2B company.
Yeah.
making white labeled products that
Yeah.
then your clients are selling and marketing on the market.
Yeah.
The diversification, is that some things you proactively offer to your clients?
Yes.
Or is
yes. So we have both. We can categorize our customers as in 3 types. So we have the front runners, so the sport brands who wants to be cutting edge. They want to be ahead of the curve. There we need our innovation to find that new ingredient, that new
makes
taste.
Pogacar win the Tour de France.
Stuff like that. When they see Remco Evenepoel drinking a red juice after his last mountain stage, those brands want that as well.
Okay.
And so that is the first things. There we need to really invest in innovations. And for those customers, we really have every quarter we have an innovation meeting of a day, giving them the option to be the first one with something new. And with all innovations, a lot of is cut out, but they want to just have the feeling that we know what the trend in 26 will be or should be. That is one thing. Then we have the real global customers. That is also global spend. These people these customers, of course, they want innovation, but their focus is more on quality and operational excellence. They want to make sure that overall the world, their product is tasting the same, that their product is allowed in all the world, because even in Europe, with the 27 member states, different regulatory environments are occurring, and then not even speaking about the US. So they are more focused on quality. And also in the past, the industry standards were the very important. Now it's just the lower base minimum, because the Mondelez, Mars, Nestle of this world, they have their own quality standards, which are even far higher. So they are aiming for those kind of... and then the third type of customer we're really investing in are the retail. That is really booming. So there we need to make sure that we're always investing in state-of-the-art machinery, that we can provide them the stable costing structure. And so those are the 3 type of customers. Okay. And always there's also some crossovers in between, but we try to offer the 3 of them. Yeah.
Okay. And you said something interesting, that things have accelerated since the COVID crisis and the lockdown. What did change during that period that made people make more aware about their well-being?
People were just more aware of their health, and there were like those stories about you need to take vitamin C and all those kind of things. So there were a little of hypes, but people are just more aware that if they mens sana corpore sano, that they if they are healthy, they are more protected against diseases, and people started more being aware of proteins, being aware of being sports. So the market grow quicker. So we see it with every trend. It always starts in the US, then it goes to the UK, and then it goes to Scandinavia, and then it dribbles down to Germany and the Netherlands, and then only after that it comes to the Roman-speaking part of Europe, because these kind of cultures, they value their eating culture is far different, and they see it really as a happening. So they are less receptive, and it takes longer. It's not only functional; it has a meaning. So that's why we always see that trend, that it dribbles down via the Scandinavia towards the rest of Europe.
Interesting. What is the because you talked about the revenue that Aminolabs is now currently turning, but what is the biggest challenge to scale a business like yours?
It is that we have a lot of regulatory challenges. I'm not always that happy with the CSRD and then the EUDR with the deforestation, and it brings a lot of complexity to the business, and also that we are still in Europe, but all the member states have different. There is a base minimum, but they also have different regulations. But from the other side, I also see that these regulations, the complexity, they give us a competitive edge, because the smaller competitors are not always able to absorb these complexities. And at a certain point, they cannot compete anymore with all those regulations. So instead of just complaining and fighting and waiting until the bare end and then we comply, we try to comply as fast as possible to also give our customers that feeling like, okay, if you buy cacao with us, we know, or we will take those suppliers that can grant us that it was taken from an area in Ghana or wherever, that it was within regulations. So we are working with the Cargills and the ADMs. So we're not doing any sketchy things. So in the past, we also already worked with these kind of suppliers, giving the quality they needed, but it gave us a pricing disadvantage for giving the quality. But now everyone is turning to those kind of suppliers with those kind of quality because the regulation is enforcing it. So from that kind of side, it's a sword that cuts both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also another big thing is the sourcing. There's far more focus from our customers from local sourcing. Like if we look in 2015, 2016, it was cool and nice to put on your product grass-fed cows from New Zealand.
Okay.
That was a thing to put on your, and now it is really a thing to not have it anymore on your packaging. So now they want really local sourcing, lesser footprint, also going away from the jars and more to pouches. So those kind of packaging is also a very big challenge.
And
for
does
us.
that have an influence? On which does that have an impact? Is that the price or the process, the manufacturing process, or
the price? Also sometimes the texture and the taste and the customer experience changes, and also for some type of ingredients we have the flexibility to source it from different regions of the world, and mostly Europe. But some other ones are really coming from areas which are less evident that all labor law and child law and human rights are protected. Okay. So that's also having an impact. So we excluded all regions where the human rights are violated, like for example the Uyghur. We try not to source from there. So but also that takes 3 to 4 weeks or months to change it and to convince your supplier that we need certain certifications. Yeah. So those are the challenges worldwide. Yeah.
Okay. I would have thought that R&D would also be a challenge because you already said in the when answering the previous question that for top sports, cycling, football, whatever, you always need to be on top of things to grant the big brands a competitive advantage. Yeah. So how do you go along with that? Do you still find the necessary capacity, R&D capacity, to stay at the forefront of innovation? You have two types of R&D. Of course, those cutting edge. That is not with us. That comes from the teams. They find something, and it's only when it gets scalable that we will introduce it into and gets more mainstream. Okay. So we try to scan, and we are really data minded, and we try to be aware of all the new trends. But also we are not always implementing all new trends from the first time. We also need to make sure that it is evidence-based, because it's not because someone is using it that it really gives an advantage. Sometimes it's also just pseudoscience or just so we want to be aware of everything, but we also need to translate it into our product and to an end product. So it takes a little bit more time, but we are always scanning those kind of innovations. And the second thing is, we want to also have scalability. Only feeding the peloton of the Tour de France, those 180, is not always worthwhile doing. So we are also going for, of course, sometimes it starts there, but there's a bigger a good example is the gaming industry. So the gaming is a very big one, and we have one or two customers are really focusing on the gaming industry. So that is really products
focusing on joints and on focus. So, but not like the easy Red Bull, which give you a very high peak, but also after 2 hours you get a big drop. The gaming people they want to play whole night, and they want to play until 1 or 2 o'clock in the evening or in the morning. But if they want to go to bed, they want to go to sleep quite quickly and not staring at their ceiling for the next 3 hours. So you need a different type of focus products, and that is something that I think will evolve into the mainstream as well, because everyone is working and everyone wants to be focused. So those are less high, but also less big drops. So those kind of things will evolve into the mainstream as well. So those kind of things could help, and also from Top Sport, of course, can dribble into the mainstream. But those kind of R&D is not really our main focus. It's more like looking for a new plant-based source, which give us, our footprint is lower, more stability and pricing, those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And because you've already brought a big variety of products on the market, depending on the needs of your clients, etc. But if you would have to pick one product that you put on the market, or where you are behind as Aminolabs, which for you is the one that you say, okay, that was the most innovative one?
That's a product from 1.5 years ago, and that's a plant-based protein, and it's a blend of different protein sources. And the plant-based, we were a little bit too early with that. 1.5 years ago, we already thought it was a big home run. But the awareness, and people want to go plant-based, and they are very influenced by also reducing their own footprint. But in the end, the challenge with plant-based was the texture and the taste. It was always as if you were playing kindergarten with your daughter or your niece in the garden, drinking some coffee and feeling the dirt you were drinking. So it has the earthiness. And we were able to fully get that out of the product. And we had 10 to 15 customers coming in with having the normal whey proteins and the plant-based one, and they cannot take it out. And that is one that is now really getting traction. And we have the first 3 or 4 customers that are including that in their product. And that's something that we are really, really proud of. Yeah.
That's certainly a trend, because you see it now in the supermarket as well. Everything should be vegan, plant-based, whatever. Do you see other tendencies for the future that we need to take into account?
Some new trends are now also linked to the Ozempic. So that's one. And then with the needle, and then once you stop, you have the yo-yo effect. Yeah. So now we're trying to develop, and we are on the way of having one, but we're not there yet fully, is that once people have stopped using those kind of medication, that they want to keep their new weight at a level, that we will provide with products that can help them avoid the yo-yo after they did their crash test of 3 or 6 months. So that's weight management is a very important one. Yeah. And it's the biggest epidemic at this moment in the world. Yeah.
Okay. And looking now at your personal life and career, you just turned 40. That makes you a wise man. You have an impressive career, becoming a managing director of Aminolabs after the buyout. What would you describe, or would you like to share with other entrepreneurs as the lessons learned that they should bear in mind during their entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, on that stage, I'm quite very modest, and I don't think I have much lessons to give, but I would rather give lessons to people younger than me. If I had to look in my career, I had a mentorship. When leaving KPMG, coming to Aminolabs, it was more. It was a thing that my father always imprinted on me. So the most lessons I just took over from my father. So I didn't invent anything. But 2 lessons that have proven successful is, one is the mentorship. You need. It doesn't really need where you work, but there are people that are really can help you growing. And for me personally, at Aminolabs, it was my CFO back at the time, 2016, Wouter, who was not a typical CFO, but he was really business orientated. And he gave me a lot of freedom and responsibilities together with Waterland, with Matthias Gijssen. So I always say I had my personal MBA during those 4 or 5 years. And I was not sitting in the front of the car, but I was sitting in the car. So I could learn a lot. I was sitting at the table, not taking any heat, but just and exposed to the whole company.
Yeah, listening and stealing with your eyes.
Yes, indeed. Okay. And that gave me the opportunity that after those 5-6 years, where you could say that my career was like leveling out and did not move after being a manager at KPMG, just being a controller for 5 years, it made me available to in 21 become CFO, and then in June 23 becoming managing director together with Christine. So yeah, it stagnated and then it grew very quickly. That is one thing, and a second thing is loyalty. That those mentors and they push you hard, and at a certain point, you will be valued, and then for that is also again Waterland, but also Roger Janné, the founder, who helped my career. So it's okay. Being at the right time at the right place as well. It's always a share of luck there as well. So yeah,
and be a little bit patient. I would
Indeed.
Imagine.
Yeah. People think that after 1 or 2 years that there should be a return, but like my father said, the longer you wait with harvesting what you've the bigger the crop gets. So you don't have to be where you want to be at your 30s, even at your 40s, because we still, I don't want to ruin it, but we are still not halfway our career.
Of course.
So there's a long way to go. So being work hard and have some people who believe in you, they can accelerate your career. Yeah.
Okay. And you have 3 children.
Yeah.
You have a full-time job. I think I think the most of your time is spent at your work.
Yeah.
How do you combine these two? These two. I also have 3 children.
Yeah.
And I also have a high-paced job.
Yeah.
But for me, to be very honest, it's sometimes juggling to keep those two in balance. So
yeah. I must admit, besides work and my kids, there's not a lot of time left.
Okay.
But I see also you have people saying I need me time, but the time with my family is my me time. I enjoy driving them to the Hero. I enjoy them just hearing their stories about what they experienced at swimming and stuff like that. And it's maybe a little bit unpopular opinion, but I don't really believe in quality time. I more believe in quantity time. So I try to stop at 5:30, being at home at 6, and until 6 until 8 is just with them and hearing their stories, because quality time you can have it with your wife, and because you can schedule a dinner and then you can talk about everything and you can catch up. But with your kids, they will not decide that in the 30 minutes that you made your agenda open to talk with them, that they will share their issues. It will just pop up when you're sitting in the car driving to the training or whatever. So you need enough quantity time to get a quality time out. Yeah. So you need to be exposed enough to hear what their issues are, what their concerns are. So that's maybe a little bit unpopular to say for people that they have quality time and that it's important. Of course, quality time is important, but you cannot enforce it with your kids when they're 8. They will tell what they're bothering when it suits them.
The quality will come after the quantity, I think.
Yes, indeed. So I try to I work again when they're in bed. And of course, my wife, she does a very big part in managing everything, because she's also full-time working, not on Wednesday, but I think even that is even harder, because those women working for 80%, they are working 100%, but only paid 80%. Yeah. So I'm trying to do lifting my weight, but the mental load is with my wife.
Yeah, I understand. And what makes you disconnect the most from
I think
professional.
The instant I walk in the door, and my kids are telling about their daytime. That is one thing, and I'm also very oriented on sports. So I'm not doing a lot of sports. I try to run my 10K in the weekend.
Okay.
But for the rest, I really enjoy watching sport, and I'm also still addicted to news and politics. So yeah, that is just reading and yeah.
And maybe a question: if you do sports in your free time, or you watch a sports game, are you then using your nutritions?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm using them.
So you're testing them out.
I'm testing them out, but I always go to our R&D and ask those guys, what should I take and what is working? Because in the past I was just taking things on the wrong time or in the wrong moment, and then it is counterproductive. Okay. You need to take, when you're going to sleep, different type of things than during your sport. So I'm not I'm not a specialist. So I still ask Tarek from R&D what to take and when to take it.
And if you go to the grocery stores, is that then the first thing you're gonna check in the rows?
Check. I always check if the brands for whom we are producing, if they are in the brand in the store, yes or no. And if they're not, we're always trying to find out who's the manufacturer and trying to get a pitch for next time that we can land them. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Very, very interesting. Well, I have a final question for you because here at Cresco we're a law firm and we're a lot putting attention on partnering and collaborating and fostering growth. If you would be able to partner with one party in the world globally, with whom would that then be?
That's a sensitive one because we are brand neutral. So
of course. I'm sorry.
No. So we want to work with all of them. We are still already working with some brands owned by Mondelez and also some brands owned by Mars. So the next is Nestle, I would say then.
Okay, that was very diplomatic. Thank you very much, Vincent. It was a very nice chat, and wish you all the best with Aminolabs.
And thank you all of you to invite me, and also with the help you provided us last year with the management buyout. It was very, very useful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.